The rain fell hard that night over the quiet streets of Manhattan, a cold drizzle whispering against glass towers that hid secrets beneath their steel skins. Miles away, under the glow of JFK's arrival terminal lights, a man in a long black coat stepped out of the sliding doors. His name was Ethan Miles, though once, long ago, he had been known by another, Ethan Cole, the heir to the Cole Empire. He hadn't been in America since he was 5. Back then, life had been perfect. Private jets, lavish estates, a father who built empires and a mother whose laughter lit up the mansion halls. Then came the flight, an innocent family trip to Africa that turned into a tragedy. The jet went down over the Congo Basin. Both parents perished. The world thought the Cole heir was gone too, but Ethan survived. He was rescued by villagers and raised by an aging missionary couple. He grew up with no luxury, no titles, and no family, just a scar on his face and a burning memory of fire, metal, and screams. Years passed. He learned discipline, silence, and patience. While others his age chased dreams, he chased truth. A decade later, he discovered something. His father's company, Cole Industries, had been taken over by his uncle, Richard Cole, who had declared him dead and absorbed everything. That night, Ethan made himself a promise. He would return. He would reclaim everything. New York felt colder than he remembered. The air tasted like greed and ambition. He had changed his name, studied finance, mastered technology, and built a quiet fortune through encrypted cryptocurrency trades and underground investments. He didn't come back as the lost boy. He came back as a ghost with purpose. His first step was observation. He rented a modest penthouse overlooking the Cole Tower, the empire his parents built, now shrouded in his uncle's name. Every night, from that window, he watched the man who stole his life host investors, charm politicians, and smile for cameras. That same smile had once read bedtime stories beside a dying fire. Now, it burned Ethan's memories like acid. But revenge wasn't rage. It was strategy. Ethan began infiltrating his uncle's world. Under the alias E. Miles, he joined one of the subsidiary tech divisions. He was quiet, brilliant, unnoticeable. He worked late, earning trust, studying every contract, every asset transfer, unraveling how his uncle falsified documents to claim legal ownership. And then he met her, Clara, Richard's only daughter. Smart, elegant, kind. Everything Ethan didn't expect from a Cole. They met in the company elevator. She didn't know who he was. At first, she was just part of the plan. But something about her, the way she saw the world, not through money or power, unsettled his focus. But Ethan couldn't afford emotion. Not yet. One night, as rain lashed against the glass of the tower, Ethan broke into the company archives. Years of secrets slept there. Digital files that detailed bribes, forged death certificates, false wills. He copied everything. The truth was now his weapon. The next morning, Cole Industries woke to a storm. News networks blared headlines. Corporate empire built on fraud, shocking evidence, surfaces against Richard Cole. The board turned on him. Stocks plummeted. Investors fled. Richard Cole was cornered. That evening, Ethan walked into the office that had once belonged to his father. The man who had stolen everything was sitting behind the desk, trembling, half drunk, his empire collapsing around him. Richard looked up, squinting through weary eyes. You look familiar," he murmured. Ethan stepped forward, his voice low, cold, deliberate. "You should. I'm the boy you buried silence." The old man's hand shook. "Ethan," he smiled faintly. "You took my name, my home, my father's legacy. You built your throne on ashes. Did you really think ghosts don't come home? Richard's voice cracked. It wasn't supposed to be this way. I kept it alive. No, Ethan cut in. You fed on it. But tonight, it dies with you. He slid a small device across the desk, a flash drive. On it were files that would erase the last of Richard's reputation, freeze his accounts, and hand over everything to the rightful heir. But Ethan didn't want money anymore. He wanted justice. I'm not you, he said quietly. I don't kill. The world will do it for me. As he turned to leave, Richard screamed, Ethan! You think you can erase me? Ethan paused at the doorway. No, I'll let history do that. Weeks later, the news was everywhere. Disgraced CEO, Richard Cole, found dead in his mansion. Some said suicide. Others whispered murder. Ethan didn't care. He stood on the balcony of his parents' restored estate, the Cole mansion, overlooking the city skyline. The same land that was once stolen from him was now his again. But the victory was hollow. Revenge had brought justice, but not peace. Clara had left the country after learning the truth. She never looked back. And Ethan? He was left with everything he ever wanted, yet nothing he truly needed. He whispered to the wind, Father, Mother, it's done. The wind answered with silence. But deep inside, he knew one truth. The boy who left America came back a man, but the man who took back his name had lost something far greater. Still, he smiled faintly, his eyes glinting under the city lights. Because some ghosts don't come home for peace. They come for justice.